I'm gonna break down what makes Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, Chaperone, Charlie XCX, and so many other artists' vocals so compelling in 8 minutes. Vocal production is what we're talking about here, and I have not really been able to find any kind of comprehensive guide on what vocal production even is really ever, so I'm gonna attempt to make a full comprehensive guide here in 8 minutes, which now that I'm saying it out loud kind of sounds a little crazy, and I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing this to myself, but I think it'll be really fun. So moving on, vocal production is this.
I'll just stack the me's.
Okay, we're done. Thanks for coming to my workshop. Have a good day. No, but actually though, like, she is a master of vocal production, and whether you love or hate her music, it is clear that she is thoroughly versed in what makes vocal production so effective and how to execute on that. She is a master at work in that respect. And part of why I don't think there's a lot of guides on vocal production is that it's kind of hard to describe what it even is. So here's the definition that we've all been looking for. Vocal production is simply the art of arranging vocals so that you accomplish 3 things. You're elevating the narrative of the songwriting, you're keeping the listener engaged through the entire song, and you're showcasing the vocalist and strengthening the unique qualities of their voice. So that's the backbone of good vocal production. But what does it look like in practical application? As I see it, you have 5 tools to accomplish those 3 things. You have stacking, which is layering vocals on top of each other. You have harmonies, which is using notes alongside the main melody to create note clusters. You have doubling, which is different than stacking, but we'll go over that. Ear candy, which is cool little flourishes that excite the ears. And then you have counter melodies, which is alternate melodies that move in contrast to the main melody. Now, Ariana is doing every single one of those things that I just listed in that previous video clip that I just showed. So get your bingo cards ready, because we're gonna do vocal production bingo. Oh, there's your candy. Here's more. Ear candy. Where's that? Here we go. Oh my God. Is this how you play bingo?
I don't know what I did, but let me double it.
Okay, there's you. Oh, doubling. Here we go. Here it is. Laying on top of it. Doubling. Harmonies. Check. There it is. Counter melody. Counter melody. There it is. This pen is so dead. Okay, now she's creating a stack with all those different parts she's doing, right? Here's the stack. That's a stack. We're stacking.
I'll just stack the me's.
Oh, it's stacked. There it is. She said it. Cool. Okay, we won. Ariana Grande vocal production bingo. What'd I tell you? She was gonna do all of it, right? That's what I said. I know what I'm talking about. So that was fun and hopefully educational, but I would like to use the rest of the time we have to open up the dot and lay things down in real time so you get a feel for how this flows and how it should feel and the questions you should ask yourself if you're doing this yourself on your own or if you're working in the studio with a vocal producer. So every pop song at its core is a lead vocal, right? And that's what we have here. We have a main lead vocal that I recorded. This is just something I whipped up for this example specifically. Here's what this is sounding like. 'Cause nothing really lasts after goodbye. I've been down 'cause the thoughts in my head said that angels really don't cry. And now what we're gonna do is vocal production, bring that to life, right? Make that sound like it is a finished song and not just a good lead vocal. We need to do those 3 things I mentioned earlier. We need to elevate the songwriting, we need to keep the listener engaged throughout the entire song, and we need to showcase that the vocalist and their unique texture and quality to their voice. So my thought process with this lead vocal is, how do we emphasize the narrative? That's what goes in my head first. So I'm listening to lyrics, and what can I do to emphasize those lyrics? Here I have this lyric, thoughts in my head. There, I want to pull the listener into the thoughts in my head. Thoughts are not just one single thought, it's a lot of thoughts. So I'm gonna double that vocal to add width to keep the listener engaged, but then also emphasize the narrative and also pull in a cool texture in my voice that sounds, when it's doubled, it sounds really cool. So here's what that would be like, right? I'm singing this really tight double here on just this part of the phrase. So from here, single. I've been down 'cause the thoughts in my head. Thoughts in my head. head. So the goal of these doubles is to be fully transparent and just add width and just add texture, right? So I pull one to the left and one to the right, and here's what they sound like when they're balanced in a little more. So single vocal. I've been down 'cause the thoughts in my head. Now let's look at harmonies. I want to accentuate certain phrases by adding a couple harmonies. Okay, so let's add a harmony on this thoughts in my head line. Thoughts in my head. Now I'm gonna double up that harmony. Thoughts. I'm gonna do two more of the exact same thing. Thoughts. And notice here when I'm doubling things, there's only room for one main vocal in a song. There's only room for the amount of emotion and oomph you put into a main vocal one time in a song. Everything else has to be restrained a little bit, pull back into this airier part of your voice, especially when you're doubling and you want things to be transparent. You're not going for your full force voice. You're going for a lighter texture that will feel really nice when it's panned out left and right. I'm not singing thoughts in my head, right? I'm thinking thoughts in my head. So it's softer, it's gentler, and that'll feel way better when it's doubled up on top of each other. So really quick, we need to address something, which is the reason doubling and stacking are different is because doubling refers to additional takes that are stacked and sung in an identical manner, whereas stacking would be getting vocals to sound intentionally different from each other. So you have the texture of a bunch of different vocals on top of each other. Where this gets really confusing is we can stack vocals, but double vocals in that stack, if that makes sense. We have doubles here of these harmonies. Thoughts in my head. When we stack vocals, we're adding all those other vocals, and you can hear there's multiple vocals, right? So doubles versus stacks. Now let's do like a true stack, right? The point is to feel like I am singing on top of myself. So I'm gonna do each of these in a very different tone, very different voice. I feel like it'd be cool to have like kind of what's called referred to as like a gang vocal, which is sounds like a room of people singing, right? Say that angels really don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. I want some grit in there. I want some texture. I want some emotion. Okay, now something about vocal production that is an absolute hack. When you're thinking about keeping the listener engaged, I want you to imagine just like a stereo spectrum, right? So you have center, left, and right. And what you want your vocals to be doing the whole song is this effect where they go center, center, wide, center, center, really wide, center, center, wide. And there's no order to this, but you're playing with that center, wide effect to give the song depth and feeling when you pop in and out. Another huge thing we can do that falls in this kind of stacking category is stacking octaves on top of each other. I'm gonna stack my falsetto on top, just singing the melody, but it's gonna give it like depth and texture when I do that. That's really gonna add an element of excitement that the listener hasn't heard before. And the angels really don't cry, don't cry. One more, give it some more width at that point. Really blow it open when it hits that section. Harmonies can also act as ear candy, and that's what's happening here, right? Don't cry. It's this little perk up moment. That's all ear candy is. It's just getting your ears to perk up, right? Let's do a counter melody that also acts as ear candy, because that's the last element we have. We haven't laid any counter melodies yet, right? So let's lay a counter melody somewhere in the end here to give us one final push of keeping the listener engaged. Oh, let's go. Let's do a counter melody here. It's all coming back with coming back around. Cool. I'm going to finish stacking this, doing the exact same thing you just seen me doing, and I will show you the final product. Okay, so I've gotten everything in here. I've gotten everything edited. I've gotten everything mixed in. I finished out the arrangement with the vocal production. And here's what we've got. Listen to how much more alive this is, right? Cause nothing really lasts after goodbye. I've been down cause the thoughts in my head said that angels really don't cry. But if you really listen, you can hear past the fake news and bad lies, good friends and hard times. It's all coming back like the tides I grew up chasing. Vocal production is one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal. So that's what it looks like in real time as it goes, as we're figuring it out. That's what it looks like. Now, I threw all of these examples into one project just to show you what it looks like to do everything at once, right? But not every song you'll be using every single one of these elements. If you're doing something that pulls inspiration from a lot of like middle of the road pop, you will be using most, if not all of these things. But some genres never double and some songs never need harmonies. But if you're feeling like your vocals don't make the same impact as your favorite artists, it's probably because you don't understand vocal production. You're not using it as effectively as they are. Another thing I'll add to this is that in order to practice truly effective vocal production, your instrumental production needs to be on point. You'll find it very hard to get really effective vocal production if your instrumental production is not doing its job very, very effectively. One last point is the mix is everything when good vocal production has been put in place. Vocal editing is an art form unto itself, and getting those doubles to feel invisible and using those harmonies to assist the main vocal, all that comes down to good vocal production given to a good mixing engineer who does what they do best.
Bad lies, good friends and hard times. It's all coming back like I'm chasing.
Everything in the music creation process builds on top of the previous step before it. Write the great song, do the thorough pre-production, nail the perfect instrumental production, execute the ideal vocal production, ace the mix, land the master. I really hope this helps you unlock that missing piece in your vocal process. It's something that's taken me a long time to understand. And yeah, I hope this can be a helpful resource, whether you're an artist, whether you're a self-producing artist, whether you're a producer working with other artists. This is what we do. We keep working to understand our music, because when we understand the music we make, we create better music, right? Thank you so much for watching. Please like and sub and comment if you have any feedback on this. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know what you think. That's really, really helpful to push these videos out to help build the community of indie artists that I want to build on this platform. Let's all work together, keep building what we're doing, keep supporting each other. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.